Hey, you! Are you interested in getting better at TAVG but you don't know how? I have a solution for you. Send me your games. More specifically, the videos of your games. If you send me a recording of your guys' games, I'll look at it and I'll review it for you. For example, Bob up here sends me his games, and I look at it and I say, well, Bob, you've got good aim and you got great grenade usage, but your positioning is a bit off. And over the course of the game, I'll give him some advice as how he can improve that. If you're interested in this, or it sounds fun, comment a thumbs up down below today's video. Alrighty, and we are live. Yes, yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Reviewing with Gyozaplanet with your host, Gyozaplanet. Hello, if you don't know me, I'm the little talking gyoza in the corner. I play video games on the internet, and I try and help you guys get better at them. Today we have another viewer submission. I believe the viewer for that is not Notepad program. Hold on. I believe the viewer today is Lonley, another person from the Landfall Discord server who was interested in getting better and they have sent in their games for me to review. So, yeah. A couple of things first. Firstly, I'm glad everybody enjoyed the previous one. This one, however, will actually be a bit different because when you guys see it, you guys will see a trimmed down version. Like, I mean a fully properly edited video. If you guys do want to see the full one, do let me know and I will let you guys be able to, I will send you guys the full, uncut version of today's video. Anyways, yeah. Notes for Lonley. So, I've skimmed a bit of their gameplay and I've talked a bit with them from, sorry, hydration. From what I've seen, they are a bit better of a player. They can get kills. They can get actually a good amount of kills and everything, but they're still kind of newish, or if not kind of newish, they're still have some rudimentary skills. So, yeah. Also, disclaimer: there are 4 games I'll be looking at. And yes, I won't go super in depth today like I did on the last one. 3 of those games are solos, 1 of them is a squads game, and you will know the squads game by the squads indicator. Okay, first fight, how are you gonna handle this? Yeah, that was close. Okay. Oh, it's this section, okay. Alrighty. I'm gonna rewind a bit. So, main thing that, Lonley's a bit better about this than, Mercy was. Or Morrissey, I think it was. Stow your weapons. The enemy does not see you and does not know you're there, and they very clearly aren't looking at you. You right now want to catch up to them because you have a very close range weapon. Ideally, because if you had pulled out your fist here, you probably could have been able to shoot them in the back before they leave, which is good for you because what that means is that you don't have to actually exit out into the outside area that's like over here-ish. You can just stay inside the corridor here, which is good because you only have 2 paths. You've got this and this. These are the 2 directions from which you can get shot from. And if you're watching one of them, yeah. The enemies don't really have much choice from where to come. Okay, okay, there's that. Okay, this is something I was a bit miffed at when I was first watching it. You spend, let's see, I believe it is, okay. So when you get okay, you get it down at 111, and then you stick around for, okay. You spent 27 seconds, as you can see here. This went from 111 to 138. That's 27 seconds. And in those 27 seconds, you did pretty much nothing. Like, I am serious, you did absolutely, like, pretty much nothing during this section. Most of what you did was running around and watching the person that you downed. Which, I get it, I suppose. Actually, I think this is solo squads, not solos. Apologies. Yeah. Okay. First point I'm gonna bring up. Well, okay, actually, Not yet, because it's kind of just a thing, but this is something I do want to mention, is that most of the time when you down somebody early on in a game, um, they aren't really going to be able to revive easily unless they manage to find like a legendary unless they manage to find like a legendary regen blessing or something. They're not getting up. It's gonna take your teammates a couple of moments to get them up. So you got two choices. You can either thirst them, which is just like keep shooting them until they actually die, which not a super great, not a good idea given that you don't have much ammo. Or you could go and try and hunt down the rest of their teammates. This is actually not a bad option for you because you know where this person is. They aren't really going to go very far. And so if you go down and their teammates are probably coming to them to go, and they're probably going to be like coming from here and here and then from here to try and, well, revive them because that's what good teammates do. And you can take advantage of this fact. You can go back here to like the launchpad room. You could even run over here into this building over here. And, well, you'd be able to get more kills and everything. But as it stands, you spent about half of a minute just waiting around for the person to die. Which worst case scenario, you could have also just punched them to death. It doesn't do much more damage, but at least it speeds it up a bit. Okay. Alrighty. So you've just been shot by a crossbow and you're about to kill. Almost kill somebody. Okay, so you got a kill. Congrats. What you can do here? Clever. Okay, very good, very good. So if you guys, so what they did here is, so they're running around. They hear the car running up, and then they hear the car stop. So what they do is, first, I'm guessing they were planning on like gusting the person away, but they don't. So instead, what they do is they jump up on top here. What this does is that the person is going to be running, over here through here. They're probably not going to look up here to where Lonely is standing. So what does this mean is that you manage to get the drop on them, and even if they are looking at you, you get the first shot advantage. If they are looking at you, even better, you get free shots on them, and they don't know where you are. Here you catch them off guard. The size of the MG gets you in trouble. You also decide to reload with half your magazine left. General rule of thumb, if you're shooting at somebody who is not shooting back, you can kind of just keep shooting till they die. You don't need to reload prematurely. Especially since you weren't about to like pull out your sniper rifle, or like you didn't have to reload to like turn around and shoot their buddy on top of the roof. Okay, but so they get the kill, and they do a very clever thing here, I will admit, is that they know that the other person is up top with the crossbow. They are out here, outside of our vision. It's just kind of, and they are looking at us, or at Lonley specifically, over here. So what would be a terrible idea? A terrible idea would be go over here and start looting, because pretty much everything from here, everything that is in this yellow square here, kind of, hold on. Okay. Pretty much everything in this yellow section here is within the line of sight of this person up here with the crossbow, which means that even if they're not a great shot, they can still hit you, and the crossbow is a one-hit kill currently because you do not have any max health blessings. So what they do, they wait, and yeah. So they hear gunshot, they hear footsteps, and they hear gunshots. Gunshots usually means that the person is distracted, and yep, they're gonna go loot. Alrighty. I will say you do have. Oh. Okay, I'm not quite sure where that grenade came from. Hold on. Okay, I think that was just somebody who landed a really good grenade. I did not see that at all. Okay. You tried your best there. Okay, here's what you should have done. First things first. That grenade means that the person knows you are there, and they are trying to fish you out of cover behind this like little barricade here. You get a couple of options. None of them are fantastic, but they're alright. Option 1, Uh, stay where you are. This is what you do. It's not great, as you can see here, because they see you and they know where you are, and then you end up dying. Option 2 could have been right here. Once you get behind cover, actually, I'm going to rewind just a tiny bit. Here. So, you get behind cover, suddenly the enemy does not know where you are. What you can do here is, you can take advantage of the fact that they don't know where you are, you can actually run over here. So you can do a couple things. You can either, like, try and parkour onto here, out of, whatchamacallit, Area 64. Bit ambitious, you do make yourself an easy target, but if you manage to get away, it's going to take the enemy a bit of time to catch up. Another thing you could have, actually, I'm just going to keep that there. Another thing you could have done is you could have run over here and behind these tents here. This is good because there are several like little nooks and crannies, or actually like cracks in the fabric that, or holes in the fabric more accurately, that you can use to get into the buildings themselves, and there you can hide behind the computers or whatever, heal up, and then basically have the enemies bring the fight to you, which is good for you because you're using an incredibly short range gun. You want the enemies to get as close as they can before you start shooting them. What you could have also done is, you can't really see it here, so I'm gonna just, okay, actually, I don't think you see it after you start moving. Another thing you could have done is you could have run up into the tower, actually. Hold on. Is you could have run up here. Now, it's not a fantastic option because it's kind of like, you do show off where you're going to the enemies, but the thing is, all these like little metal bars here, as you can see, like all of this, all of that gets in the way of the shots, which means that unless they are using like a rocket launcher, which there are no rocket launchers, they have to hit you between all of this metal, which is not super easy to do. And even if they do hit you, they're probably just going to hit like a limb or something. So worst case scenario, you die, it's fine, you at least tried to get away. Best case scenario, you take absolutely zero damage and you manage to get up top, use a bandage, you shoot them as they run up the stairs, because there's only one way to the top there, unless they use something. Yeah, there's only one way to the top, which is either you take the stairs or you have to like use the jump blessing slash uh, double barrel shotgun, both of which are very loud and very obvious. Medium case scenario, you run up and you take like one or two shots, but they're probably going to be to your limbs, which means it's only going to deal like, I think you were getting shot by like an AK or yeah, you took about 13 damage there, I think. Which means you probably would have taken pretty much no damage whatsoever. It's a FAMAS, even better actually. You would have taken like 9 damage or something. Okay, so yeah, there were a couple of things you could have done there, but unfortunately you just choose to do. Actually, another thing you'd have done is you could have thrown down a grenade. If, for example, you throw a splinter grenade right here, in this section right here, so right around this corner or something, this is good for you and terrible for the enemies. Why? Well, if you basically, how the splinter grenade works is that it goes off and it sends bullets in all directions. However, the bullets ricochet off of walls. If you throw it over here, so like actually, if you throw it over here, this is over like to the right here of this cover here, you can't get hit unless there's an unlucky ricochet. You're most likely not going to get hit by the bullets because like the bullets that are headed towards you hit this piece of wall here and they ricochet that way. Whereas for all of the enemies, it's about to hit them because it's going out into the open, out into the open, out into the open, out into the open. You could have also done the same thing with a knockback grenade. You throw a knockback grenade here, it can't see you, so you won't get affected by it. Anybody who's running towards it, either they have to take time to stop, hide from it, which costs them time, gives you time to heal up, maybe reposition again, or even better, they get hit by it, and suddenly you have a down target, and even better, the enemy might not have taken time to heal up before running after you, which means that they're, like, best case scenario, they are actually hurt, and then they are now stunned and a free shot for you. Worst case scenario, they're full health, but they're still a free shot for you. So that's a couple of things that you could have done here. I'm going to summarize this as how should I summarize this? probably. Well, I'll think about it. I do think it comes up again later on, so I'll see if I have a better name for it by then. So do keep in mind. So actually, I'm gonna bring this up again because I do see it a lot. Um, if you're not in a fight, shooting someone, stow your weapons. This is the same thing that I was mentioning to Mercy last time, but it's the fact that you run around faster, you accelerate faster, and it's easier to do parkour when you have your weapons stowed. And it takes pretty much no time to pull them out. Another thing, though, I would like to mention here is that if we rewind a short bit here, yeah, you hear a crossbow shot in this general direction here. Now that's not fantastic. Why? You have less than 130 health, and also there's a decent chance that the person who has the crossbow is standing up on the wall, which means they have high ground on you. Another Now, this is part of the disadvantages of coming to Longwall, is that most of it is straight open lines. What does this mean? That they could 100% be looking in this direction if they were standing, like, hold on. They were standing right here, and they were looking this way. They would get a clear shot on you. Like, yeah, they have a 100% clear line of view of all of this section here, and that includes you standing right here. Which is not fantastic because, yet again, they have a crossbow. Even worse, you're walking through an incredibly narrow pathway, which is this doorway here. There isn't really much wiggle room unless you hit prone as soon as they fire or something. If they fired at you right here, you would probably be dead because I will rewind. So yeah, you hear the shot and then you decide to run at it, which isn't a fantastic idea. But yeah, like if this is the doorway here, you as the player take up about this much here. So about, I'd say like what, 40% of, yeah, it's like 40-50% of the thing. Which means that like, if you're trying to stand here, you're either taking up this section, or you're taking up, nope, that's too much. Taking up this section here. This is not great, mainly because let's say there's a crossbow coming through here. As you can see here, okay, if I was a better artist, as you can see here, it's going to cross this line here. Now, if we do the same thing over here, I'm actually going to make this blue to, if we see the crossbow bolt flies here, it intersects with this yellow line. This yellow line is you. If you're standing in the middle here, and the crossbow bolt comes through, it's still going to hit you. So in all three scenarios, it's going to hit you because you don't have any wiggle room. You don't have anywhere to move around in and everything. Honestly, the simple thing you could have done here is just go this way around the edge here. It's really easy, it costs you nothing, and on top of it, the enemy doesn't see you coming. So yeah, just be aware of what, I suppose, actually I will write this down as a point. Be aware what certain dangers entail. Entail. Crossbows is equal to corridors are bad. Minigun is equal to CQC is bad. Miniguns and or shotguns, because that is actually shotgun. This does happen later on. CQC is bad. Sniper. Actually, hold on. We will indent this. Sniper is equal to open field is bad. So what this basically means is that you need to be aware and like actively conscious of what certain weapons that you hear or you see or are shot by mean. If somebody has a minigun or something, like even if you might have like close range weapons, you're still going to want to play further away from them. You're going to want to play at the maximum range of those weapons. If you have, let's say, Mossberg and Vector or something, not great, can happen. You're going to probably want to play around the Vector's range of like 20 meters. Are you going to do pretty low damage? Yeah, but good news is the person with the minigun is going to be able to do pretty much zero damage to you whatsoever. Whereas if you try to run in with the Mossberg and everything, even if you do, like, the chances of you being able to land a lucky hit with a Mossberg, lucky hit that one hit kills them before they just turn around and obliterate you is very, very slim. So that, and also, so yeah, if somebody has a minigun, you want to play to the enemy's disadvantage. Every single weapon in this game has advantages and disadvantages. You want to take advantage. You want to capitalize of off of those disadvantages and, well, take advantage of their disadvantages. Yeah. If we go back to the list here, if somebody has a crossbow, like, you running through tight corridors or tight doorways or something is fantastic for them because you can't dodge the arrow. They just have to shoot in that direction. You're probably going to get hit. Even if it doesn't one hit kill you to the torso, you're still taking like 80 damage, which is a lot of damage, especially since I don't think you have any healing blessing. And still, they can crossbow rifle, crossbow shotgun, crossbow submachine gun, crossbow grenade if they're really devious. Whatever it is, you're probably dead. So if there's an enemy with a crossbow, what are you going to do? You're probably going to want to use parkour, use the terrain and everything. Make yourself as difficult as a target to hit as possible. Are you probably going to hit less shots because of this? Because you're moving around so wildly and everything, and you don't have time to aim? Yes, but what you're doing is you're also causing you're causing a bit of frustration for yourself, but you're causing like ample more frustration and problems for the enemy, which is fantastic because you're currently at a disadvantage. So instead of that fight with the crossbow person being like a 20-80% chance with 80% being towards them, it's going to be like 55-45, and you're still at a tiny disadvantage now, but it's almost equal. So that's something that you do need to be aware of going into the future. I will admit it comes with time learning what certain weapons entail, like learning, like, for example, if somebody has minigun or MG, they're probably using a speed loadout, they're probably trying to play close up, they're going to run at your face. Or if somebody has like a double shot or something, they're probably running a sniper build. All of that comes with time, admittedly, but even without that, a lot of weapons are very distinct sounding. If you hear anything remotely crossbow related and it isn't an automatic crossbow, avoid tight corners. If you hear a shotgun or like any super fast, so if you hear like a shotgun or any very fast fire rate gun, avoid close quarters combat. If you hear a sniper, like, avoid running out in the open, etc., etc. So you hear the crossbow person again, you hear them, oh, you see them running. Okay. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Okay. That's unfortunate. I think they had they had a glitched weapon so it was silent or something. Okay. I will bring this up now. Be careful how you build your loadouts. Currently, I brought this up in the Morrissey video, but currently you have two weapons that are very, very good at close range. This is honestly kind of fine. The blunderbuss is fantastic at one-shotting people. The MG can like chew through squads. It's fantastic. The problem comes from the fact that what this means is that your build has zero medium range. You managed to land a couple of shots, but the shots themselves most likely only did about 10-ish damage if I were to guesstimate. And all you did was kind of pester them. You also gave away your location, which is not good. Now, what does this mean is that the problem with this is that you are now forced into a close range battle with this enemy because, well, you don't have any medium range weapons. Instead of just sitting up here and, like, let's say for example you had taken the Scar, you could probably hit a couple of shots on this guy If, like, best case scenario, you kill him, like, flat out downed. Worst case scenario, leave him up, you, like, get the full, whatchamacallit, you get the full storm circle, boom, he's pretty much dead. He's at 10 health, because it's 25. Actually, no, he would most likely be dead, unless you manage to hit, like, a limb or something. But had you taken the scar right here, you could easily shoot this person. Like, you could 100% down them right here. What this means is that also, suddenly, instead of having to, whatchamacallit, instead of dying right there, actually, what did you die to? I am curious. You do not tell us. Okay. So, yeah. As I mentioned before, if you had this guy right here, you could most likely severely injure / down this guy. Probably down this second guy, because they are kind of just running at you in a straight line. They don't even have their weapon out. Honestly, you could just hip fire from here with the MG, without falling down, admittedly, but... And yeah, you could 100% just get that kill, and then you'd be left with the third person who has the Garand, and at this point you could probably just run at them and kill them, or also just gamble that you're a better shot at medium range than they are. Unfortunately, because you don't do this and you are stuck with 2 close range weapons, you are forced to jump down into your untimely demise. Also, another thing here, so this is something I brought up in the Mercy video, but use AAT. AAT is all available tools. If you're in a fight where you're at a disadvantage, which you are currently 3+, we don't know if there's a 4th, versus 1, you are clearly at a disadvantage. How do you rectify this? Using everything you have access to. What do you have access to? Well, you have a couple of grenades, which would be incredibly useful. You have all of your weapons, which would also be incredibly useful. And you have high ground, which is, like, arguably one of the best things you can have in this game. So how do you use this? What would be an example of you applying AAT to this scenario? Well, so assuming we don't change any of this, you still have the MG, the blunderbuss, and everything. Okay, first thing you can do. So you're running around here. You jump up, you hear the crossbow. Okay, you see the person running over there. You try and hit them. Okay, first thing you notice, you have somebody out in the open on a narrow pathway with not many escape options. This is like one of the best times to use the implosion grenade. Why? They don't have anywhere they can escape to when they get hit by it. Not if, they will get hit by it unless they, like, because they're next to the staircase, they can't, like they'll still get hit by it. They'd have to jump down here, which is really bad for them. Yeah. And even if they don't do that, they're going to be stunned. You can run over blunderbuss them because they're lying on the ground. You can run over MG them. It's easy. They're standing still. Even if even the recoil is a bit much, you can still most likely kill them, especially with having Storm and everything. What you can also do is you can take advantage of, so let's say right here, they are very clearly not paying attention to you. You can also use a bombardment grenade right here. Honestly, it's a bit overkill, but like, if you throw it right here, this would rain down this entire area here. Yeah, you would have to, like, run away here to the left, but it would still probably hit this person. It would either hit this person or it would divide the two, because the people here have to stay back because of the bombardment, and this person has to run forward because of the bombardment to not get killed. So that would be really good for you, because then you can just jump down and kill them. They don't have any of their team to support them. Boom, they're dead. You could also have done is, you could have just stayed on high ground, honestly. You falling down was most likely an accident, I do get that, but still, even if you didn't, well, you could just, you could try and shoot them from where you were up top. Even if that person doesn't necessarily kill you, they still have to run up the stairs to be able to reach you. This is good for you because you're shooting downwards with a high spray or 2 high spread weapons, the MG and the blunderbuss. And you can also stand on the corner of the stairs to make yourself a bit of a difficult target. If they try to run up, you can throw grenades. It's a very good power. It's a power position. You're giving yourself an advantage in this fight. Unfortunately, you don't do that. So, all available tools. Actually, another thing that you could have done here is, as you're jumping down here, you could have thrown a smoke grenade over here to block out this path here. Would it have helped much? Perhaps not, but what it does mean is that the enemy team is locked off. Basically, they can't see you, so even if they do try to like take pot shots at you, they probably won't hit you because it. Okay, so yeah, you just get killed by this guy with his invisible weapon. But still, it would have forced them to either run forward, which is good because you can just down this guy, run, like, turn around and kill them, or you could down him, run upstairs, and let's say that's the second guy. That would be the second guy up here who had the crossbow. The third guy who you hit earlier with the storm blessing is still out of the fight. All he sees is a smoke cloud that his teammate runs through. Their teammate runs through, and they just kind of disappears. And they might see like the kill feed up. They might see like the health bars thing update with one of them down. It's really good. What you're doing is you're denying them information. You're taking away an advantage that they have. So, yeah, all available tools. Use nades, blessings, weapons to the max. Especially if you are at a disadvantage. Actually, this ties back into what I was mentioning earlier about that fight with the MG that you had earlier back in Area 64, is that you should have taken advantage. You should have applied AAT, or actually, let me rephrase that. Applying AAT would have helped you out into that scenario because you did what you could there. But had you used AAT, it would have helped because using all available tools would be like taking advantage of cover, so running up into the tower, taking advantage of your grenades for preventing enemies from running away, taking advantage of the fact that you get a cardio blessing. Cardio works best when you're moving around. So how do you use this? Run around. Just run, like use like the tents as cover, trying like move around and everything, like basically reposition and get out of the path of the enemy, like force them to run after you because you had a close range weapon, and so you want them to catch up to you, but you want them to catch up to you at a moment that's convenient for you, not a moment that's convenient for them. Okay, decent game, but you tried your best, I will say. Alrighty. So overall, after the first game, you're pretty good. You're a pretty good player. Your short range, like your CQC fighting, is pretty good, I'd say, but your decision making is a bit lackluster. And yeah, that is getting you into a bit of trouble. Also, yeah, your decision making mostly. Um, where are you gonna land? You land Sandcastle here? I think you might. No, hold on. No, you land Longwall. Yeah. So it looks like you just do a crater landing, which is where you basically just barrel straight down, actually. Whoa. That's not supposed to happen. Okay, I do not think the video file is very happy. Apologies. Yeah. Oh, okay, so you do get a bit of distance. Okay, that's fine. General tip, this is not something to note down, but just usually have an idea, have a place in mind when you're flying through the bus or before, like, yeah, as soon as the bus spawns and you see the route, have an idea in mind of where you're going to go, because the earlier you can jump out and get to that place, the better for you, especially if you're playing at a disadvantage, you're playing solo squads. Having a gun 5 seconds before an enemy, like, having a gun 5 seconds before everybody else means you can, like, by the team, by the time a team of 3 is fully landed, you can have one of them down, one of them half health, and the third one doesn't, like, they've just landed, which is really good for you because it means you can just go and hunt them down. Okay. Yeah, honestly, that's fine. I get it. Not most people don't like the MP44 or MP40. Car 98 and okay. I will bring it up again. You are not very well set for medium range right now. This is a problem because most of the fights in Longwall take place at medium range. There are a couple of long range fights, I will admit, like across, like from here all the way to like over there or something, or like over here or something. That's not the majority of the fights. The majority of the fights are inside the whatchamacallit, like if they will look too low. Yeah, okay. Also, um, okay, centering, centering. Keep your crosshair at chest level, not foot level. Centering is a concept in most first-person shooter games, which basically involves where do you keep your crosshair when you're moving around and fighting and everything. And for in general, you want to keep your crosshair where the enemies are most likely going to be, their center of mass, so their chest. Which means, now I will admit this is a bit difficult to do in Tab G because, pardon me, bit difficult to do in Tab G because you don't actually have a visual crosshair, but you can still you still know where you're looking and everything. So in general, you want to have your crosshair be nope. You want your crosshair to be about actually right here. There is a very faint line here with the bricks. This is pretty much where you want to keep your crosshair if you're standing right here. Why? Because if somebody suddenly turns that corner, where are you aiming? Their center of mass. However, right now, where are you aiming? Down. So what that means is that it costs you time to have to bring your aim up, and if you're shooting during that, that means the time by the time. So +1, +1. So these are bullets that they are firing. +1, +1, +1. So actually, plus. Ba, 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 ba. Okay, +2. Okay, you get the point. By the time that they hit, by the time that they reach the target, which is over here, so actually we'll just sketch him. Bum, bum, bum. Enemy player suddenly appears out of nowhere. By the time you actually manage to bring your aim, which is I'm guessing around here-ish, all the way up here, you've already fired about like, especially if you're using something like the, well, let's say you're using the AK, you've probably fired around plus, this is not very, +8, 10 maybe. You fired about a third of your magazine into the ground, and on top of it, you have recoil that's already began to kick in. So you're either using up a ton of ammo getting to them, and by then it's already kind of difficult to game, or you put yourself at a disadvantage, and during this entire time where you have to, that is my Discord, apologies. This entire time where you have to bring your aim up to shoot them is time that they have to shoot you. If they have a one-shot weapon, you're probably dead. If they have an automatic weapon, they've probably hit you once, twice, maybe 3 times if they're a good shot. You're either like around half health or below half health, which is really not good. So this is why centering is such an important thing here. And also keep in mind. Okay. Keep in mind that you can also loot stuff from the nearby menu in the inventory. You don't actually have to look at the ground to do it. This might help. Okay. This is something that I was kind of talking about before. Is be careful when picking weapons. Majority, not all, majority of fights are medium range. So this kind of goes into the concept that I was talking about in the Morsi video, which is the previous video to this, is that, well, most of the time, a majority of the fights in this game, or most of the fights in this game are split between close quarters, so 0 to 20 meters, and 20 to 50 meters approximately. When you're building a loadout, aka choosing what weapons that you want to bring with you during the course of a match, most of the time you want to have at least one weapon, if not, yeah, at least one weapon that is good in medium range. You can also have one weapon that's good in short range. Ideally, you want one of both. You want a weapon that's good in short range and a weapon that's good in medium range. There can be overlaps. For example, the AK-47 rifle is good at medium range and it's also good at short range. Or something, for example, something like the MP40 is a submachine gun that's good at close range, and it's also pretty decent at medium range. It's not as strong as like a rifle, for example, but it still will work. Unfortunately, you currently do not have either of those. You have the Glockinator, arguably one of the shortest range weapons in the game, uh, because of how it fires and how many shots it fires. So that's a Glockinator. That's a purely short range weapon. Then you have the Kar 98. This is a like far medium range to long range weapon. It's a sniper rifle. Um, you can't really use it at medium range super effectively most of the time. Like you can, admittedly, but it's going to be difficult. And then the third weapon you have here is the Beretta. It's a close range pistol. That's it. So what happens here is none of your weapons are good at medium range. What this means is that yes, congratulations, you do manage to get a very good Kar 98 shot on this person. Thumbs up. Problem is, you try and follow it up, and the Glockinator loses so much damage at range that you are now forced to run after this person. What this means is, first off, this person can get to cover and heal up, throw down a grenade or something. It's costing you time. Second off, their teammate is now alert to the fact that you are here and you're running after their teammate, which also means that they're probably going to start shooting in this direction here, which is really bad for you because if they hit you, suddenly that means you're running after an enemy, and even if they might be at like 30 health or something, they still might be able to hit you for like 40 health or something. Suddenly you still have two of their teammates alive and you're down to 30 health. Okay, so it was not their teammate. It was a third party. But also, yet again, as I was talking about, yet again, you not having a mid-range weapon kind of bites you in the butt here. Currently, this person is standing still out in the open at about 15, 20 meters. This is like any pretty good player's dream. This is the freest target in the world. Unfortunately, you have a long-range weapon and a very short-range weapon. So what happens? It means that you're forced to use the Kar 98 here instead of the Glockinator because you just wouldn't be able to do pretty much any damage worth of value. You could try using the Beretta, but like best case scenario you deal 45 damage, worst case scenario you deal like 10, 15, worst case, like that's medium case, worst case scenario you just completely whiff like here, and so you're forced to use the Kar 98 here because it's the only thing that's kind of in the medium range things. What does this mean? You miss as expected, and now you are at a disadvantage. Now I will say you did do the right thing here of getting up close and personal with this enemy. You did kind of get, it was kind of saved by the fact that they got stuck in the cactus. But still, I will applaud you on the fact, congratulations, or well done on the fact that you knew that the Glockinator is very short range, and so you took the fight to short range instead of kind of hanging around that wall there. Okay. Okay, so you're gonna ditch the Beretta, which, okay, let's see. Did you grab a third weapon, or did you just like grab a spellbook or something? Let's see. I'm gonna fast forward here. Oh, nice shot. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna rewind because we skipped out on a bit of context here. You hear gunshots. Somebody is shooting at you. Okay. Alright, so this is one of the scenarios where Kar 98 is actually pretty useful because, yeah. However, yet again, not having a medium range weapon comes back and bites you in the butt because if you had a medium range weapon there, you could have swapped over and you could have hip fired at them. Worst case scenario, nothing happens. Best case scenario, you get a kill. So be aware of that when you're building your loadouts. That also right now, you are burning time. Like, assuming this guy like has a team or something, he's just separated or something, because you now have to get up close and personal with this guy, means that every second that you're forced to do this, his teammates have more time to get close to you. Also, now I will admit his teammates are not fantastic at the game, but still. Did you throw down a dummy grenade? Was that? Yes, it was. Okay. Alright, that's actually a pretty clever play. You threw down a dummy grenade to distract them. You didn't jump down because you knew that they would be, like, getting ready to shoot the dummy grenade. Yeah, that guy must have had no health whatsoever. And that poor player had no idea it was a dummy grenade. Okay, but still. So, I will say, well played on that. good use of like dummy grenade, also pretty good sniper shots here. But still, most of this could have been avoided. Most of this fight could have been avoided if you had a medium range weapon. Because suddenly, boom, okay, we go here, boom, you shoot them. And they would be dead right now with that medium range weapon. If you had like the VSS, actually, for example, had you grabbed the VSS, they would probably be dead right now. Because VSS plus Car 98 to the chest does 101 damage, and they do not have any blessings. So, what that means is 4, 5, 6. I'm actually just going to fast forward here. So let's assume this person is just going to run by just because. I think actually this was the person that you tried killing earlier. You would have saved about 20 seconds there. Yeah, which means you could have gotten this kill, like run over and looted if you want, had time to run over and kill the other person, and then still had another 10 seconds to spare. Even better, if this guy had teammates, like, it's 10 seconds is a lot of time in TAVG. 10 seconds is the difference between 4 people shooting at you at once and 1 person shooting at you, 1 person arriving, and 2 others trying to get there as fast as they can. And the best time to take fights when you're playing solo squads is when teams are staggered. Staggered is when they're not next to each other, when they're separated, when you can do a one-on-one fight and then you can do another one-on-one fight instead of having to do a one versus multiple fight. So yeah, medium range. Have at least 1 weapon that is medium range. Or I suppose actually this is better worded. Fights are medium range / short range. One that is short range. And this will help you a lot. Not only will it, well, it's going to help you in a couple of ways. Number 1, it helps you buy time. It buys yourself time. You don't have to make risky plays like running at that person that you sniped because you can just kill them from a distance. But also does that it means that you're put in less bad situations or like more advantageous situations, like the example from the previous gameplay with the MG42 there. Had you swapped that out for a Scar H, you probably could have like maybe killed that squad or just full on killed that squad. Please hold. Anyways, okay. So just keep that in mind for the future. Now, I will admit sometimes you just want to like have like a specific loadout, but yeah. Grabbing the M16 here actually wouldn't be a terrible idea. Okay. Minor thing, just avoid using the fire rate barrel on most weapons. It is not worth the, you lose 15% damage, which is a good amount of damage. And in exchange, you get a 20% fire rate, which unless you have Storm, it is not worth it. So unless you're using something like PPSH with Storm and you're purely trying to build Storm, or you don't care much about the damage of the weapon, just don't use the fire rate barrel. Well, don't use the fire rate barrel for pretty much most guns. There are a couple that are okay-ish with it, but okay. So you hear a car rolling up, or nearby in distance by Pyramid. You didn't see it. Okay, good job. You're taking high ground here to get a better vantage point, I suppose, on the enemies. You got crossbowed. Okay, that's unfortunate. I mean, there's not much you could do there. Oh yeah, okay. Okay. Thing here, audio cues are very, very useful in TAVG, and they're actually surprisingly noticeable. For example, here are the sounds of you jumping. Here are the sounds of you jumping with somebody else jumping nearby you. it's pretty noticeable. Keep an ear out for stuff like that. Okay. A bit of a risky drop, I will say, especially this late in the game, because in most matches there will be there's a good chance that there's a rather strong squad here. Like strong squad as in a squad that has a lot of loot and stuff like that. And the amount of stuff you can get that hasn't already been pilfered from this POI is not super high. Although it does seem like nobody's here, so you did manage. You got lucky in this instance, but you don't want to be lucky. You want to be good. I would have just grabbed the P90. I'm gonna be honest. The Beretta does not stand up against multiple people. The P90 does, and also you have a free slot for it. You might as well. What are you gonna pick as your medium range weapon? Because you have a sniper rifle right now, and that's pretty much it. You're not. Okay. Okay, so you are going to grab a P90. Okay. Alright. So it just took you a bit of time. I don't know. I don't think going for the musket here is the right choice. You just got a whatchamacallit, a weapon mastery blessing, which increases or decreases the amount of recoil and decreases the amount of spread weapons have. I would recommend trying to grab something like the blunderbuss here would actually not be a terrible idea because you can use it as like a pseudo sniper. But honestly, grabbing some kind of very high recoil weapon would also be good. Like if you got actually this would be the perfect time to grab an MG again. Not the Vector. The Vector does not have much recoil. You are kind of not taking. Yeah, this ties back to all available tools. You have a weapon mastery blessing, like make the most out of it that you can. Okay. Okay, this one kind of makes sense, I will admit. Mainly because the Grand does have at least a bit of recoil. Okay, so you see somebody, and you miss. It happens. Unfortunately, they now know you're there, so how are you going to handle this? Okay. This point here comes back into play yet again. You don't have a medium range weapon. Yes, the Grand is a DMR. That's basically translates to a marksman rifle. It's a medium to long range weapon. Unfortunately, you have an 8x scope equipped to it, which means the ways in which you can use it are rather limited. Oh, that's where you get this kill. Okay. So, yet again, you need this. You struggle a bit at medium range with this. If you threw on like a red dot sight or something onto here, that would probably be beneficial. Like, I mean, you can still keep the 8x in your inventory, but in fact, they're basically yet again. I suppose it's be aware what certain dangers entail. This is like an extension of that, which would be I suppose which is know what specific POIs know what specific POIs will play like. For example, different places play differently. For example, in Area 64, it's a lot of short range mixed with medium range fights. In Factory, it's a lot of short range fights. But having a long range weapon isn't a terrible idea, especially if you manage to get to high ground or something. If you're at like City or something, having a sniper rifle is actually a pretty good idea because there's a lot of long sight lines. Sight lines are basically ways that you can look. As you can see, I can see all the way over here to this corner of everything. That's a lot of distance. Having a like if I was on Factory shooting down into World War Z town, that's not a terrible idea. Same thing in City. There's a lot of empty space with a lot of like narrow passages and everything. It's really good for sniper rifles, crossbows, etc. So currently you're fighting in Factory, and most of your fighting in the near future is probably going to be in Factory. So like make it like setting up or like having the right attachments on the Grant for it to be usable at medium range, not at long range, would benefit you the most. Okay, you got lucky that they were not looking because, oh, I don't think they had any minigun ammo. This is the person that they downed earlier. I saw, like, I was skimming through and I saw this, and I was like, what are they up to? Alrighty, you're gonna, alrighty. Stow your weapons. No, no, no. I'm not even gonna repeat it at this point. I understand you might find the Glockinator fun, and admittedly it's a fun weapon, but if you are going to use the Glockinator, then the rest of your loadout needs to be prepared for that. It means that you need to have something like a AK or a Scar H in your other primary slot. You need to have um, something like a you need to have like a double-barreled shotgun or a speed aura in your slot to be able to catch up to people or something like that. Basically, using the Glockinator is kind of like using the sniper rifle. It's very commitment based. You need a lot of stuff to make it work, which means that if you do take it, you're gonna need a lot of stuff to make it work, which isn't fantastic. Alrighty, so you hear two people impact. Throw a grenade. Honestly, right now, go throw a grenade out there. Most of the time, so just this kind of goes into it. Oh no, they don't have any loot. Okay, so they just two people that landed next to each other. Are you gonna get the kill on them? You are, but something very unfortunate is about to happen in the near future. It seems. Oh yes, okay. I remember this fight. Okay, and tick tick boom. Okay. Yet again, this is all available tools. Use nades, blessing weapons to the max. What did you do here? This isn't so much a matter of, like, having medium range weapon, because this is honestly this is a bit of a far battle. Like, unfortunately, you did not take advantage of what you have here. You have an enemy running out in the open. This would be a perfect time, like, honestly, really good time to throw down a volley grenade. Or, even better, if you can manage to land it, black hole grenade. They're out in the open, there's nowhere to run to, there's, like, it's pretty much open field. You throw that, you follow up with, like, a volley of shots or something, boom, they're dead. Unfortunately, you don't do that, and you decide to just shoot them, which means you die. So yeah, unfortunate. Overall, decent, but... So, I suppose, after game 2, what do I think? You have the skills to be a good player. You've got decent aim, you've got pretty good movement and everything, but you've got a couple, like, the main things that I've brought up here, all available tools. Well, it's a mix of, it's all available tools, picking the right weapons, and being aware of what certain dangers entail is getting you, like, is putting you in a lot of bad situations, and most of the time, those situations you can't bail yourself out with your good aim or your movement, and thus you die. But we'll see how game 3 goes. Okay, I think game 3 is one of the like one of the better games. So, Area 64 landing yet again. Audio awareness. You could actually hold on. Could you hear that guy's footsteps? Yes, yes. You could very clearly hear that person running towards you. You can hear them beatboxing. Pay attention to audio cues. Pay attention to stuff like beatboxing. It's gonna give away where somebody is. You can take advantage of that to set up ambushes. Had you just stood at the doorway there, or had you, like, turned the corner as you heard them, like let's imagine this is the hallway here, boom, and you are standing here-ish. If you had, like, started, like, if you had waited and then, like, you had, like, swung out, swinging is just, like, if you had appeared from the corner as they were turning this corner here, that's a free kill for you. They are, like, even if they have something like a shotgun, you have the timing advantage, and they have to actually pull up their weapon and shoot at you. And even better, if they have bad centering, it's going to cost them more time, which lets you win the fight easier. You're saved by the fact that they don't actually have a gun, but... Okay, so I hear there's faint running in the background. And it's... Okay, it might be the... yeah, I think it's just the down guy crawling over. Nope, it's his buddy. Okay. This is certain dangers again. Be aware of what certain dangers entail. This is a shotgun. Even if the enemy is not a good shot with a shotgun, shotguns, they don't need to be a good shot. They just need to be lucky. Unfortunately, you are using a submachine gun. You can't really be lucky with most submachine guns. You have to actually be a decent shot. So, what can you do? Boom. You hear the shotgun blast go off. First thing you should do here is realize, ah crap, I'm fighting a shotgun. Now, you can either jump on the jump pad. You can just land back in, boom, it buys you a bit of time. Or you can run up the stairs here. And, okay, you can't really see it, but hold on. Let's see if I can pull it up. Okay, boom. Boom, okay. So, you hear the first shotgun shot, you can either just jump on the jump pad here, or you can run up these stairs here. This is good for a couple of reasons. Number one, it gives you high ground. High ground is very valuable in this game because there's less of you to shoot and you're a harder target to hit. Even better, there are railings. Shotguns hate railings. It is like one of the worst things because the pellets get stuck on the little metal crossbars here and like the little posts here. Awful for them. For the submachine gun, it's fine. You might miss like a couple bullets, might get hit, might hit it instead of your target. But even then, you can just kind of like peer over the railing, shoot them, boom. So yeah, and then you can just keep running around up there. Yeah, because right there, that 10 damage hit could have been a 90 damage hit, which means that right now, if their buddy ran in this room, you would be dead. Aha, here it is. It gets you in trouble. Okay. So, as I was just saying, don't shoot dead bodies or don't shoot down players because it takes too much time to kill them and it also draws a lot of attention to yourself. Guess what happens? You start shooting the down person, boom, enemy appears. What happens? They are an awful shot, and I also do not think they are fantastically skilled at this game, but you ran out of ammo about when they had half their magazine left. If they didn't, had they just stood there and kept shooting, you probably would have died there. Also, you might as well grab the shotgun. Alrighty. I'm honestly fine with that. The enemy was probably healing up with bandage or something. Okay. Okay. General advice. Do not run in the doorway that somebody has just shot out of. They're probably waiting in that doorway, or they are nearby and they might shoot out of it again and you'll get hit with that shot that was meant for somebody else. Aha, here it is. Back. If only. Okay. So, let's rewind here. First thing that you shouldn't really do here, you have multiple windows here. Jump into windows instead of running through the door that somebody has just shot through. Probably because they're going to be waiting. Second off, you hear the audio cue. They're probably running around upstairs. Jumping up like this is not a fantastic idea because it exposes yourself and there's a low chance for you to actually be able to shoot the other person. As you can see here, you get stuck. Third thing, they're probably going to be expecting you, especially if they heard you running around or if they saw you running. Use grenades. You have a snowstorm grenade. You could as you're running up the stairs there, you can throw a snowstorm grenade here. They can't go up the stairs anymore. If they try to, they're slowed a lot. You can just pepper them. You have the vector. It's great at just spam fire. Except you don't do that, and you just get bailed out here by the fact that, well, one, you have healing ward, which is convenient, and also the fact that they are an awful shot, and also that they didn't swap to their Beretta. If that was the other person, they probably should have, but okay, yeah. Yet again, it's mostly just decision making. Just not taking advantage of everything that you have access to is getting you in a lot of trouble. And it's not just like everything you have access to, as in weapon wise or like grenade wise. It's also things like audio cues, visual indicators, stuff like that. It's getting you in trouble. Okay, you're jumping. It's outside the wall. Okay. Stow your weapon. You probably could have caught up to them. Oh, that person had moves. I'm not even gonna load out. It's the medium range thing again. You don't have a good medium range option. You have the flintlock, which is okay, but the problem is the flintlock is a one-shot weapon. So as soon as you miss, your mid-range option is dead in the water. And you have the crossbow, which is medium to long range, but yet again, it's a one-shot weapon. So it's very commitment based. Okay, so you decide to reposition. It's a good reposition spot, I will say. You have a lot of cover, but you also have high ground over a lot of people in the area. What are you gonna do now? Alrighty. So, okay, here it is. You've just gone on Legendary Spray, which is arguably one of, if not, it's one of the strongest blessings in the game. So, I would agree. You're gonna, yeah, absolutely equip that. Okay. Okay, so you've just gone an incredibly powerful tool. It's the Legendary Spray Blessing, which gives you an absolutely ridiculous amount of fire rate, a lot of magazine size, and a very, very high, or yeah, very high rate of fire, heavily increased magazine size, and heavily increased reload time or reload speed. So, yet again, unfortunately, you can't really capitalize on this. Why? Because you have two one-shot weapons. Both of which, the two one-shot weapons, both of which having only one round, so the ammunition increase does not help them, and having one round, the fire rate does not affect them. They do reload faster, which is a perk, but honestly, as soon as you get this Legendary Spray Blessing, you should sprint back over to the factory and find yourself a rifle, or find yourself a rifle, like the A12 or something. I don't like. I would be against using the A12, but it works well with the Spray Blessing, I'm just saying. So, basically, you just got an incredibly powerful tool given to you. Take maximum advantage of it, give it everything it wants. The spray weapon wants weapons that maybe don't have, weapons that, either fully automatic weapons that need to reload constantly, as in the Mossberg, Mossberg / double barrel, not the one-shot weapons. It wants weapons. Yeah, it wants weapons like that. It wants speedy weapons. It doesn't want sniper weapons. Spray Blessing is not good for sniper weapons. So what you want to do now is, as soon as you get that, you want to go and you want to swap it out. Do you maybe have a ton of stuff already set for the crossbow and flintlock? Yeah, but admittedly, if you keeping them is just going to get you into basically, you're not going to get as much mileage out of it as you would if you had swapped it out for swapped out the crossbow for an AK or something, or a Scar H if you wanted that bit extra range. Because I think I hear some clambering nearby. Okay. Alright. You don't really need to. Actually, I was gonna say you don't need to pull it out this prematurely, but admittedly, you don't know where the enemy is, so. Okay, you just heard a crossbow bolt whiz by your face. You should probably be dealing with that instead of the person down low. 2 crossbow bullets. I think that was a crossbow bolt and a bullet whizzing by your face. Okay. Yet again, oh, it was a blunderbuss. Oh god. Okay, yet again, This is the actually, I suppose this is what I was talking about earlier with the doorway that you ran through, or I suppose yeah, with the Winchester guy. Be careful. If enemies see you, hear you running around, they're going to adapt accordingly. So going like doing a plan that like going through with a plan that's already been revealed to an enemy isn't necessarily the best idea. You could have, like, for example, backed up, gone up the pipes, and jumped up onto the roof of this building instead. Alrighty. I will admit, ice plus legendary spray vector is rather devious. Epic Bloodlust. I do believe you. Yeah, this is just a more looting, isn't it? Okay. Honestly, this is a really solid loadout, except for the fact that you have a sniper weapon. But also, if you do have a sniper weapon, you might as well just be shooting as fast as you can. You have that increased reload speed, so you might as well take advantage of it. I think somebody's tried to airstrike you. Somebody tried airstriking you. Holy. You are rather lucky there that they missed. Okay. So you see somebody crash land into a building. Most of the time, it's either a skilled player who's going to leave that building very shortly because they're hunting for kills, or it's somebody who's just gotten back in from the death puzzle, or is escaping another team. It's probably a new player. Okay. Yeah, this ties back in. This kind of ties back into all available tools again. You have 100 in, I think that's what, like 180, 100. You have 208 health. You have legendary spray, and you have a rare regen. The rare regen is not as fantastic as the other two, but it's still a lot. You have a lot of health and a lot of firepower. Even if somebody was laying in wait with a Mossberg, and they manage to land a perfect shot on you, they could only deal half of your health bar. If they manage to get like a perfect spray with their weapons, they're only going to deal like 50-60% of your health. Meanwhile, you can just run in there, instantly obliterate them. If they have a buddy, turn around, throw a grenade maybe, or just obliterate them too. You have so much firepower with the legendary spray blessing that you don't need to play like this. Also, the person keeps airstriking you. This is funny. The airstriking. Yeah, because of that, what happens is that you lost out on one kill, and then the buddy or their buddy that was next to them, that might have been the same person, I'm not quite sure, but yeah. And now what happens is that you're put in a bad situation. And that is know your weapon. That is the be aware what certain dangers entail coming to bite you in the butt. You ran point. Okay, I suppose you didn't necessarily know that they had a blunderbuss. But this is also why you use grenades. Had you, for example, thrown a snowstorm grenade right here like you did earlier, this would have been a perfect moment for it, because this person would be stuck in there. You have 900 ammo. You can just spam the hell out of that specific region, like where you're getting the hit markers. They're probably going to go down. Even if they don't, follow it up with a splinter grenade. They're not going to escape it. They're stuck in a snowstorm grenade. Worst case scenario, they have to burn a launch pad grenade. Best case scenario, you just get the kill, and then boom, you follow it up on their buddy, and boom. You get 2 more kills, and you might go on to win the match instead of this. Also, most of the time, if somebody is inclined to get even closer to you than you are to them, it's probably because they have a weapon that lets them do so. Be aware of this. Also, actually, even more so than that, the weapon choice problem comes back into play here, because you don't have medium range weapon. Because what this means is that you have to get up close and personal with the Vector. If you had this an AK, you could just take this fight right now. You could take it, like, you could back up even, and you could get that kill. Fortunately, because you have a long-range one-shot weapon, And yeah, because you have a long-range one-shot weapon and a rather short-range submachine gun, you are forced to close the distance, and it bites you in the butt. Okay, so this is okay. Squad's game actually is next, I believe. You guys decide to land directly on top of Circle Town. You bounce off the roof. It happens. Okay. Right tool for the job here, or actually I will mention this because it's not written on yours. Is the right tool for the job. Right now, so as you can see here, you land in the Circle Town, which is a very close range fight, or close range area. And then you chase an enemy into a building. You currently have the blunderbuss in your loadout. The blunderbuss is the single most dangerous close range weapon in the game. It does 208 damage if you land all pellets. It has a lot of pellets, and each one of them does a lot of damage. If anybody, like, this is the literal ideal scenario in which to use the blunderbuss. And then you use the AKS. Did it work out in the end? Yeah, they had pretty much no health. But if they didn't, and they start shooting you back, you could have probably gone, like, you would have been severely hurt here, or you might have even gone down if they happened to, like, land 2 AK headshots and a body shot or something. Whereas if you just led with the blunderbuss, boom, instant down, no worries whatsoever. Even if you hit, like, 2 pellets, they'd still be down. Throw a stun grenade in there, honestly. Especially if you're going to run up, because it's going to force them to run down into you. Like that. But as you can see there, they managed to land a couple of shots. Had they been a bit more accurate with their FAMAS, you probably would have been severely hurt. Okay, there we go. You did the right thing there. You're about to get into very close quarters with an enemy. You're dropping down. You pull out the shotgun. Well done. Unfortunately, they died to your buddy with a Garand, but good initiative. Good, like, order of operations there. That is using the right tool for the job there. Yeah. I mean, it was an ambitious shot, but still. Throw a stun grenade at them. You have like a ton of stun grenades. Throw a stun grenade at them. Throw a smoke grenade at them so they can't see where you guys are coming from. Use your grenades. I've barely seen you use grenades at all, actually, in all of these videos. And I understand, like, some people, like Cuter Hunter, you don't use them because they're too strong or something. You need, like, for pretty much everybody who isn't the kind of person who can get 40 kills in a match, just use grenades. It's going to make your life easier. It's going to help you get more kills and get better at the game, because that's what grenades are for. Grenades are designed to bail you out of situations that you can't normally win. That's why this is partly why grenades were invented. They were invented to get people out of cover and out of trenches and stuff like that. I don't know if that's true. Don't quote me on that, but so now what you're doing is you're running after this enemy team. Okay, good. You stow your weapons. You miss it, and they are slippery. Okay. Oh yeah, this is where things go south, isn't it? Yeah, boom. And you just get blown up by soft drink. Okay. I don't know if there's much you could have done here. Actually, hold on. Can you hear him running from over here? Okay, yeah, you can hear footsteps right as he turns the corner. Okay. Honestly, right here, just throw down a launch pad, get out of there. You are out of zone, in front of an enemy who has an advantage on you. Like, they've got first shot advantage. They also have probably some pretty dangerous stuff. Throw down a launch pad grenade, get the heck out of Dodge. Just leave, and then it's mostly you being downed, and then you perishing. Okay. Use the right tool for the job. Yeah. Okay. Main points or main pain points, actually. Main pain points. Ah, please or use a medium range weapon. With your snipers. Rifles can be used at close range too. This is something that got you in a lot of trouble in pretty much every single game that you ran into. You would start a fight at a long range with either with your long range weapon, or you try to start it and then you were forced to get closer. Problem is, when you get close, it takes time. Not only does it cost you time, but you're also putting yourself like at the mercy of the enemies' gunshots and all of that. There are also several fights where you were forced to get close and that ended up killing you. For example, in that last solos game with the legendary spray, you got close to the blunderbuss person, you got killed. If you had taken like a AK instead of a crossbow, which would have been better because you had the legendary spray blessing, you could have taken that fight and you probably would have gotten those 2 kills and then just gone along and maybe died to something else, maybe not. Other pain point. Use everything you have. Do not ignore grenades, height, advantage, grenades, height, advantage, blessings, etc. I barely saw you use grenades at all during all of those matches. This is a problem because a lot of those times grenades would have bailed you out of a lot of those situations that actually ended up killing you. For example, in that last like the um the fight in Longwall, you throw out an implosion grenade, you get that kill, you keep fighting. Um what other examples are there? I'm not quite sure, but there are examples. There are also times where you had like certain blessings stored, or you just had access to certain blessings. You didn't use them. For example, actually, I um I think you had like in that third solos game, the one where you got legendary spray early on Area 64. You had a jump blessing, and you saw somebody run indoors up the stairs and everything, jump in through the side windows, or like jump all the way up and then run down the stairs and everything. They're not going to be expecting that. Take advantage of like basically grenades and blessings and like power positions like having height give you advantages over enemies. You need this when you're going to play solo squads because otherwise you're just going to get killed and just decimated by the fact that you are one person up against multiple people who are at least vaguely coordinated. This is not good for you because yeah, math. So take advantage of grenades. Grenades tip the scales in your favor. Height advantage absolutely tips the scales in your favor. Blessings even more so. Take advantage of this. You have it in your inventory. Use it. Um, what else? Um, or be willing, or actually, I suppose not be willing, but willing. I suppose there. I can't think of a better word. Be willing to adapt to your enemies. Fight crossbow in open area. Fight crossbow in open area. Shotgun from height slash distance. Um, Sniper in closed area, etc. A lot of the times, what I noticed is that you were getting to fights that were basically you were freely handing over an advantage to your enemy. You were, for example, game two, where you died here. I believe this is game two. Yes, this is the one where yeah, yeah, right here. You so you can very clearly see that the enemy has a Scar H and some other kind of weapon. You are standing out in the open in a very skinny hallway where you don't really have many places you can go. You're basically giving this person advantage because even though you might have the height advantage, they have they have a very clear line of shot on you. You're giving them the advantage, and even if like the Scourge isn't necessarily a sniper weapon, so it doesn't really fall into the like sniper open field is or like crossbow corridors are bad thing. This is still a bad fight for you because you're still in the line of fire of the enemy. So that mostly that basically depending on what the enemy has, try and find out what the enemy is using. If they're using like a speed-based loadout, if they're using a sniper-based loadout, if they're using like a shotgun loadout, if they're using a crossbow loadout, etc., etc. Try and figure out what it is that they're using. Like try and figure out what it is that they are using, and then change how you play based on that. If they're going to use sniper rifles, try and get to close quarters with them, or play like run from cover to cover. Don't try and fight them in open field. If they're using a crossbow or a one shot like weapon that can one shot you, avoid tight corridors. Avoid choke points where like places you can only have one way to run through. Use parkour. Use parkour. Use movement. Everything to approach them from an unexpected angle. If it's a minigun, a shotgun, or something like that, try and use cover, try and use railings, try and make distance between them. Use grenades. Yet again, using grenades helps a lot against shotgun users. All of that, and this like it sounds like a lot, and I will admit it is a lot to learn and to process and everything. It will come over time. Don't worry. Like if you're actively thinking, okay, what category of weapon does my enemy have? It's not the weapon specifically; it's what type of weapon. If somebody has a crossbow or a crossbow, you kind of you still need to follow the main thing of trying to avoid tight corridors or choke points. Admittedly, there's a bit of discrepancy between the two. Most of the time, you can do the same thing, double shot sniper versus op versus Garand or something like that. Most of the time, you just want to generally avoid being in open field. Does each one have some specific nuance tied to it? Yes, it does not matter to you. Currently, just basically build a game plan around each type of loadout that your enemy has. It's kind of like, please hold. Okay, it's kind of like using whatchamacallit. It's kind of like rock paper. It is actually. It's kind of like rock paper scissors. If your enemy has scissors, you're not gonna run at them with with paper. Even if it's like super folded up paper, scissors is still gonna beat it. You're gonna try and use a rock against them. Even if it's like a small pebble versus like a giant pair of shears. It's still an advantage for you instead of you're basically making an advantage for you instead of being an advantage for them, and you always want to have the advantage, especially in solo squads. What else is there? Use the right tool for the job is mostly time. Um, main, I suppose pop off points. It's silly of a name, but points. Um, Good aim and movement. Your aim and your movement were actually pretty good when you got into scenarios where you could apply them. They were good, and you're pretty good at fighting in CQC when you get the chance. Um, I mean, your sniping is all right, I suppose. Sniping is okay. Yeah. Um, what else? Um, you do have a pretty good sense, like a game sense of like knowing, like you're pretty like I suppose you're when it's correct, decision making is very good. Um, what else? Yeah, and I suppose willingness to be dedicated to a weapon, aka the Glockinator, which I will admit, especially given that it's a bit more of a quote unquote meme weapon, it does make sense. So overall, pretty good. So yeah, honestly, you're a pretty good player, but most of the time you are becoming your own worst enemy. You're forcing yourself into scenarios that are a disadvantage for you, and then you're making the scenarios even worse by not taking into account what the enemy is doing, which is very bad. So, and if the fight was a 50-50, for example, you're giving 15% to your enemy by not having a mid-range weapon, and you're giving another 10% or like 5 to 10% by not playing around, by like basically giving like making their loadout work well. So instead of being a 50-50, you're suddenly at a what 25-75. That's really bad odds. Really bad odds for solos squads fight, especially given the fact that there's more than one person. If this was solos, eh, this is not. This is solo squads. So overall, how can you improve? Just start grabbing a medium range weapon. If you're gonna grab like a submachine gun, grab the VSS. If you're gonna grab or like instead of that, try using the AK, try using the Scar H for a bit, something like that, the M16, etc., etc. If you want to use snipers, keep in mind that you have grenades, you have blessings, you have things like height advantage or cover or stuff like this. Absolutely use these things when you are fighting. It will help you immensely. And be like this one is going to be the most difficult, or this one is going to take the most time and effort. Just be aware, like just have like a I suppose like an like yeah, just try and adapt to what the enemies are doing. If they have a crossbow, avoid tight corridors, use parkour and everything to get to them. If they have a shotgun, don't run at them point blank. If they have a sniper, don't fight them in a closed space where they can easily see you and take pot shots at you and everything. Yeah. Aside from that, honestly, you're a pretty good player. Those are the main things keeping you down right now. So yeah, if as long as you work on those things and you please start grabbing a medium range weapon, um, honestly, yeah, just put down the snipers for a bit, grab a medium range weapon, get good with medium range weapons, and then you can go and use sniper rifles afterwards. Because once you're good with medium range weapon, you can be good with the sniper rifle, and once you're good with the sniper rifle, then you can do pretty much whatever you want. But yeah, aside from like these three things, you're a pretty good player, and when you did well, you played very well. So applause for that. Anyways, for everybody else, yeah, for everybody else watching, thank you very much for watching today's reviewing with Gyozaplanet. If you're interested in having this, where I look at your games and I tell you where you guys can improve and all of that, um, well, there are several ways to contact me. I am on Metafy, which is a platform for video game coaches. I am also, I have a Discord server that you can join. You can also just contact me directly on Discord, or you can send me an email at gyozaplanet@gmail.com, which will be on the screen here. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something from today's video, and I'll see you all in the next video. Ciao!